Hi, I'm Chris from Bike Review, and today I'm having a look at Benelli's Leoncino. It's an Italian name, so I've probably mangled it just now. However, it really does live up to the hype. When I first saw the releases about this new model, I was kind of, a bit on the fence. They really talked it up. However, having ridden the bike, I have to say, I actually think that they may have been a bit flowery with what they were saying, but it is an awesome machine. So straight up, it's a 500cc parallel twin, it's LAMS legal, and it's $8,990 on the road. So that's the ride-away price, which makes it obviously not the cheapest option, but for the category, that's quite a competitive price, especially when you look at the performance and the specs. So let's have a look at those. Like I said, 500cc parallel twin. It's right on the limit of LAMS power, so you get as much as you possibly can in this category. It's punchy, it's got great gearing. First gear is quite short. From second gear onwards, it's quite normal, like you can easily do 80 or 90 in third gear. You can cruise along at 110 in sixth at about 6,000 RPM. It does so effortlessly, and it's got plenty more to give. Probably what makes it stand out the most is just how taut that engine is. It's got great power delivery, it's got plenty of punch, it's nice on and off the throttle, which is great, and the engine braking is nice and smooth. It really, it takes something a bit out of the ordinary to really upset this bike. It's ideal for a learner rider while still having something to provide for a much more experienced rider, and that's what I always look for in this kind of machine, because a learner rider can start with something really basic and grow out of it quite quickly, or they can pick something that's going to be that little bit probably harder to start with, but way more rewarding in the long run. And it's got plentiful power. It's got great styling. Obviously it's got, I guess, kind of that almost Scrambler inspired look to it. It's a naked bike, it's quite pared back, and they've done a really exceptional job in that. A couple of things that stand out: it's got that single front headlight, throws a great amount of light down the road when you're riding at night. Those indicators, they look like LEDs. They are super bright, especially at night. The amount of light they throw, no one's going to miss you when you're using your indicators, which is great. It's got a really nice thin tail. It's got that single tail light in the rear. It's got a single piece seat, and it's got some grab rails that you can tie things to. The seat itself is pretty hard, which is unfortunate. It's probably my one big criticism of the bike. It's an 815mm seat height, so it's not really a drama if you did need to add a little bit of extra height with, like an accessory that goes on top of the seat, or even having the seat modified to have a bit more padding. Suspension's also something that stands out. It's got those big 50mm forks on the front. It's got a rear shock with an external preload adjuster, which is a nice little touch just for making it that much easier to use the bike day to day. The suspension itself is sporty. For crappy Australian roads, it is a little bit harsh at low speeds. However, on smooth suburban roads, it's perfect. And as the speeds rise, as you get onto that more like open road cruising, it's really well sorted. To me, that little bit of harshness down low is definitely an easy trade-off for that awesome cruising ability. It tracks beautifully even over the really, really rough conditions. Once you are up at those proper speeds of, like 100 k's an hour, and it's just a beautiful thing to ride at that point. Brakes also stand out because it's got that dual front rotor setup. It's got the two calipers as well. Those are Benelli branded calipers. Braking performance is strong, but it doesn't have a heap of bite. I think that's probably designed just because it's gonna definitely appeal to learner riders, and it's gonna make it much easier for them to learn on, because too much bite can be a bit overwhelming, and it can make, the front end a little bit too sensitive when you're braking. The rear brake's got a little bit more bite. It's great for around town. It's got kind of off-road style foot controls. It's got rubber clad pegs, and it's also got like kind of a large and grippy foot brake. So that's actually a really good feature. Makes it easy to make sure you don't miss it or slip off it. A couple of other things of note is The gearbox is a little bit clunky, not really a criticism, just something to keep in mind. It's not one of those super smooth gearboxes. It's a little bit more agricultural, but that's not a problem. I was easily finding neutral as I came to a stop, so that's what I'm after normally. Also, adjustable front brake lever, which is a nice little, little premium feature. The mirrors aren't bad. They're kind of styled for the bike and they don't give the best vision. And once you get to highway speeds, they actually do vibrate a little bit. Talking of vibrations, I did notice at about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, just at times, there was a bit of vibration through the right foot peg. However, at cruising speeds and higher speeds, I had no dramas with vibrations whatsoever. And the overall ergonomics of the bike are, nice low center of gravity, very easy reach to the pegs, a little bit of a stretch to the bars, which are quite wide. However, it's very natural, very great seating position for when you're, on the freeway or doing the country roads. I found it really, really good. I didn't really notice that much wind pressure on my chest, even though there's no wind protection. So overall, I was really quite impressed. So for anyone looking at one of these bikes, or anything really in, this area of the LAMS market, or even if you're looking for something smaller capacity and you're perhaps not specifically looking for a LAMS bike, but you just want something that's fun, it's got enough power to have a bit of fun on the road without anything too extreme, definitely look up this Benelli. It's an awesome little machine. I have to say, it's just, blown my expectations out of the water. For $8,990 right away, that seems like really, really good value to me. Obviously that comes down to the buyer, but I think it's a really, really great machine, and definitely one that I'd recommend taking a look at. So if you've liked our review, don't forget to leave a comment, let us know what you think, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and check out the full test at BikeReview.com.au. Thank you.